Hey, and welcome back. Super excited today because we're starting Soul Reaver Remastered, the game that got me so excited about Legacy of Kain again that I started posting a bunch of stuff on the YouTube channel. And you've been along for the ride, and it's been a great ride. So, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently for this playthrough because Soul Reaver's a different kind of game. First off, I've lost the trademark flannel because as it gets cooler outside, it gets a little warmer down here, weirdly. So, you know, unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with my bare arms. I have the right to them after all. Ha 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 ha. And also, we have the coin from our Blood Omen playthrough. Now, if you're just joining us for the first time, Kain's symbol on one side and Raziel's on the other. In Blood Omen 1, we used it to decide whether we were going to randomly murder human passerby or, you know, not do that. Now, Soul Reaver is a little bit different. Once we attack a human, they're hostile to us for the rest of the game. All the humans are. So we've got to decide right now whether we're going to be this vengeful champion of humanity, Raziel, or if we're going to let his Kainish side come out and murder everybody. Here we go. Well, we are going to be true to character because it's Raziel. So, we are going to be the champion of the poor downtrodden humans, and take our vengeance on every vampire we meet, which is what Raziel is doing in this game. So, let's get started. Yeah. Oh, love Soul Reaver so much. But if you've seen my original play video of Soul Reaver Remastered, you know that. So this image that we're seeing here is not just cool imagery. This represents actual characters. Once we get a little further into the game, I'll tell you who each one is. And we're starting off strong with one of my favorite cutscenes in all of video games. Legendary Michael Bell narrating.
Few know the truth. He was mortal once, as were we all.
Yeah.
However, his contempt for humanity drove him to create
Love
me
this
and
so
my
much.
brethren. I am Raziel, firstborn of his lieutenants. I stood with Kain and my brethren at the dawn of the Empire.
And as I've said many times on this channel,
I have
the
served
best
him
writing
a millennium.
ever.
Over time, we became less human and more divine. Kain would enter the state of change and emerge with a new gift.
And now I'm going to talk a little bit more during this cutscene than I would normally want to, just because there's a lot to talk about. These are Raziel's brothers, along with him,
would follow,
and that's Rahab, Terrell, Duma, Melchiah, and Zephyr.
My lord.
Yeah. And one thing that is important to note about this cutscene is that it's cropped in from the original 4.3. This is one of two big controversies with it. They made that change back in the Defiance days, actually. And then when they re-rendered this, they kept the 16:9 frame. But there is another moment here that's a little, you know, has some fans up in arms a little bit. And this has been going. This is a conversation that's been going on since Defiance, which is, you know, about 23 years.
Agony.
There's no gore on the wings there. If you look at this comparison to the original, see little bits hanging off there? Well, some people are really attached to those little bits. Not as much as Raziel, though. This is the Lake of the Dead. This is where we found the Lost City in Blood Omen 1.
One possible outcome. My eternal damnation. I, Raziel, was to suffer the fate of traitors and weaklings, to burn forever in the bowels of the Lake of the Dead.
Also, I want to talk a little bit about the music here. This song is called Ozar Midrashim, and it's by Kurt Harland, who did the soundtrack for the game, and it's on the Information Society album, Don't Be Afraid. It was repurposed as Raziel's theme, and I think it is one of the most badass, most amazing themes ever for a character. It's just so great. It just gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. I love it so much.
Deepening hatred of the hypocrisy that damned me to this hell.
And just Michael Bell's performance as Raziel here too. I could gush about this for hours.
Past,
and I'm gonna, because we're gonna play the whole game.
bringing me back from the precipice of madness.
Just such a great setup for
The descent had
revenge.
destroyed me, and
Yet I lived. So good. This cutscene, along with the entire game really, made me a Legacy of Kain fan for life.
Raziel, you are worthy.
Tony J is back.
I know you, Raziel. You are worthy.
What madness is this? What pitiful form is this that I have come to inhabit?
Such amazing performances.
Death would be a release next to this travesty.
I say that a lot.
You did not survive the abyss, Raziel. I have only spared you from total dissolution.
I would choose oblivion over this existence.
The choice is
Same.
not yours.
Just kidding.
I
Not most
am
days.
Destroyed.
You are reborn.
Reborn.
The birth of one of Kain's abominations traps the essence of life. It is this soul that animates the corpse you lived in.
And not everything here
And that, Raziel,
is as it seems.
is the demise of Nosgoth. There is no balance. The souls of the dead remain trapped. I cannot spin them in the wheel of fate. They cannot complete their destinies. Redeem yourself. Or if you prefer, avenge yourself.
So manipulative.
Settle your dispute with Kain. Destroy him and your brethren. Free their souls and let the wheel of fate churn again.
Wheel of Fate.
Use your hatred to reave their souls. I can make it possible. Become my Soul Reaver, my angel of death.
Okay, two things. So, one, revenge, and this is a theme that's common between Blood Omen and Soul Reaver. Revenge is a very, very useful lever for manipulation. And two, one of the best comments we've ever gotten on the channel was that Become My Soul Reaver, my angel of death, is an amazing pickup line. Let me know if you've tried it in the comments. And yeah, tell me about the scars that resulted. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to talk about with the remaster versus the original. I've said this before in my previous play video. You may have watched that, but I cannot overstate how much better Soul Reaver Remastered feels to play than the original. Obviously, it has the nice, buttery smooth 60 frames per second frame rate, and the visual and model upgrades too, which are just amazing. And I just, I have to be really careful, or else I'll just keep doing this the whole time. So that's it. We're not going to do that anymore. But the work that has gone into this, the love shows through, and it's obvious that the people who worked on this love Soul Reaver as much or more than I do. And it was no surprise to me when I found out later that the director of Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered was Raina Audron, who has done so much amazing work for the community over the years in modding, in polishing it up, and keeping Soul Reaver relevant. We have Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered because of Raina. Thanks, Raina. We owe you a huge debt.
These gates twist space, laying a path across great spans.
All right, warp gates. We need to make sure that we activate every single one of these we come across. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time. Also, another nice thing that the remaster added was little icons to show that you can interact with things. Sometimes with older games, it can be hard to know what you're supposed to interact with, so that can be really helpful.
You are weak. You must feed.
The old hunger has left me. I have no desire for blood.
You are changed. Your bloodthirst is replaced by a deeper need. You have become a devourer of souls. To sustain your strength, you must hunt the lost spirits of the underworld and consume the souls of your enemies.
How metal is that? Let's eat our first soul. You didn't see it pop up on screen. I have my tutorial prompts turned off because I played this a billion times, but it's circle to feed on PlayStation. It's not quite om nom nom, is it? It's more like, get in my belly. Get in my non-existent belly. I don't know, I'll come up with something. And X to jump. L2 to crouch for high jump, just in case you need to know. Very brief and pretty well done tutorial here.
Your wings, though ruined, are not without purpose. Take hold of them as you leap, and they will carry you across this chasm.
Jump and X to glide.
What scabrous wretches are these?
Slua, the scavengers of the underworld. Their feral hunger has claimed countless souls, spirits who now shall never find their rest.
Yeah, so the Slua in this game are easily my favorite. Which is why I like to punch him in the face.
These portals are your conduit between the spectral and material realms. With their aid, you may gather matter and will yourself to become manifest in the physical world. This is taxing, however. Your strength must first be fully restored. You require no conduit to return to this plane. You may abandon your physical body at any time.
Alright, so it should come as no surprise to any of you that once upon a day, about the same time as this was new,
Sustain your strength to prolong your manifestation in the physical world. If you fail to feed or absorb too many wounds, this fragile matter will dissolve.
So it should probably come as no surprise to any of you that once upon a time I was really into goth industrial music. And a little tidbit, there is a group called Velvet Acid Christ. Kind of heavy, like trying really hard to be Nine Inch Nails, but they sampled a lot of stuff.
You still retain many of your vampiric weaknesses. Immersion in water, while not fatal, will dissolve your physical body, forcing your return to the spirit world. Be aware that in the spectral realm, water has neither heft nor lift. It stands as thin as air.
So one thing I really like about Soul Reaver is that you have to think about your traversal, everything, in two planes at the same time. And the best advice for Soul Reaver when you get stuck is shift into Spectral and see what you can see. Anyway, back to music. So Velvet Acid Christ sampled a lot from movies up until the Supreme Court decision that made that illegal in 2006. And they actually sampled, he actually sampled Soul Reaver a few times on a few songs. And that was on the album Twisted Thought Generator, if I remember correctly.
What are these creatures?
Do you not recognize them? They are the children of your brother, Duma.
That's impossible. These foul, scuttling beasts could not be kin of our high blood?
Do you suppose that time stood still for you, Raziel? Much has changed since you passed from the world of men.
I knew my opponent's weaknesses, having suffered them myself. Physical wounds are fleeting. A vampire's immortal flesh begins to close as soon as it is cleaved. Vampires need only fear those wounds that impale or inflame. Water
Plenty of
scorches
options
like
here.
acid, and fledglings are devastated by sunlight's touch. I would have to modify my tactics to suit my foes.
Let's go water with this one.
Unfettered from the flesh, a creature's soul fades swiftly into the spectral realm. Draw it in quickly, Raziel, or you will be compelled to follow.
So if you get a chance to play Nosgoth, which you can still play it, the multiplayer shooter, all the skins are unlocked. And if you get into the options, you can find evolved versions for just about every vampire clan.
Your physical prowess surpasses what
Block
you knew in
puzzles.
life. Even massive obstacles can be moved effortlessly.
And that's square to interact. And we're going to be doing a lot of block puzzles, so buckle up. Buckle up? No. But Nosgoth has these evolved skins for every clan, and it's interesting to see the choices that they made as they were developing that game, which, you know, rest in peace. Sad that it never got released. There we go. Slight misalignment there. All right, let's grab ourselves some fire.
My God! The sanctuary of the clans reduced to ruin.
Yeah.
Beyond these walls lay the pillars of Nosgoth, the seat of Kain's empire. How humble it now appeared, collapsing into the dust of its former magnificence. And yet,
This is my cat.
I had only just emerged. In the instant between my
This is Tali.
execution and resurrection,
She
centuries
hardly
had
ever comes
apparently
down here,
passed.
especially when I'm filming. Yeah.
This world is wrecked with cataclysms.
She's my little
The
void
earth
queen.
strains to shrug off the pestilence of Kain's parasitic empire. The fate of this world was preordained in an instant by a solitary man.
We're not getting anything done today.
Unwilling to martyr himself to restore Nosgoth's balance, Kain condemned the world to the decay you see. In that moment, the unraveling began. Now it is nearly played out. Nosgoth teeters on the brink of collapse. Its fragile balance cannot hold.
Now, I'm not going to say that Kain did nothing wrong, but he was manipulated into having to make the choice in the first place. And I think he made the right decision in this respect. But we'll get into that later. First, we got some vampires to kill. Oh, so satisfying. Get in my belly. I don't know, do you like that one? Do I need a new catchphrase? Let me know in the comments. Alright, so quick note about the Sanctuary of the Clans. So obviously, as the Elder God said, Kain built the seat of his empire on the ruins of the pillars, which is a very Kain thing to do. And there's some concept art in Soul Reaver Remastered, and I'll just pop it up in the window here, that's really, really, really cool, that shows the Sanctuary of the Clans and how really titanic the building itself is supposed to be. It's supposed to enclose the entirety of the ruins of the pillars. It feels a little humble in Soul Reaver 1, but as you can see from this, it was meant to be incredibly impressive. And it is in the context of the game. Anyway, loose thoughts and musings. Yeah, killing vampires in this game is so fun. And Raziel's a really good shot, too. Yep. And that's the thing, there will be times where we're locked in with vampires, but, this is a door to a warp gate. We always want to keep an eye out for these. But most of the time you can just run right by the vampires. You don't have to fight them. Which is how we're going to get our Platinum Trophy in Soul Reaver 2. And we're going to play on PS4 because you can't get the platinum on PS5, which is annoying. On this run, we will get the platinum for Soul Reaver, but I only have one left that I need to get. And this is a tough thing. If you don't have a torch or a spear, or there's not a body of water around close by, you can't actually kill off the vampires. You have to have one of those tools for it.
This, at least, had remained constant. The endlessly swirling vortex of the abyss. My tomb and the womb of my rebirth. Though much of Nosgoth's landscape had changed, these cliffs gave me my bearings. My clan territory was to the west. I was anxious to see how my descendants had fared during the centuries of my absence.
Okay, we're going to talk about the Raziel in just a minute. It's the Duma hymn that we've been seeing, as the Elder God said. Easy peasy. Okay, now we're trapped in. But, as I've said in the past, we're not trapped in here with them. They're trapped in here with us. Looking around. Ah. Okay, so that's a health upgrade. We can't get to it just yet.
Utter desolation. My once proud kin wiped from this world like excrement from a boot. I knew the hand that wrought this deed.
Okay, so what happened to the Raziel? Well, we get a hint on the gist of what happened a little bit later when we talk to a different character. And, however, there were survivors. The fate of those survivors was much, much worse than simply being wiped off of the face of Nosgoth. Definitely want this one. Really, we need to activate every warp gate. And the quickest way to travel, as we'll find out later, is honestly saving and quitting, because that will take you right back to the Abyss, under the Lake of the Dead. Which, it can be annoying if you're working your way through an area and you're a long way from a warp gate, but it can be very convenient if you're on your way to the next area. Okay, so we've got a body of water here. Now, we should not try to get in there. But here's what happens if we do. Yeah. So, yeah, water is not good for Raziel because he might be a dead vampire thing, but he's still a vampire. So we'll just kind of pop back here. But one important thing to remember, we want to remember this right here, because this is the first instance that we see of one of the coolest parts, the coolest things about Soul Reaver 1, and that's the interconnectedness of the areas. Now, Dark Souls really made a name for itself, but with that kind of map design. But Soul Reaver drew from such classics as Metroid and Legend of Zelda and worked those into its formula. So I love Soul Reaver's map and how interesting and interconnected it is. And that's something we don't really get any of in the later games, which is sad. Yeah, come fight me by the fire and see what happens. How smart are you? Okay, you're kind of smart, a little bit. That's R1 to lock on, by the way. Fire is dangerous, especially when you're a vampire. Yep, so that if you're struggling with the combat in Soul Reaver, which, some folks do, the key is just lock on. The key is lock on, 1, 2, 3, dash hit, and impale. Like this. 1, 2, 3, oh, nope. 1, 2, 3, dash, impale. Oh, I missed. Smash that face on his head out of frustration. Here I was trying to be cool. Okay. We'll want to remember this dial here too. We don't have the ability that we need to interact with it yet, but later we'll come back to it. For now, there's only one way to go, so we'll go that way. This is the music for kind of the liminal transitory space, which I've always loved.
No! Please!
I didn't recognize these flayed racks of flesh. Their scent was vampiric. They gnawed upon their victim's carcass like dogs.
So these are the Melchiah. We'll find out a little bit more as we go. Oh, crap. That's another thing you gotta be really careful about. If you impale a vampire, you need to make sure you've devoured its soul before you take your weapon back. Because they'll just pop right back up. There we go. Now we're in Melchiah's clan territory. Okay. We flipped the coin, and it landed on Raziel's side, so we are not going to attack humans. And we have to keep that through the whole playthrough, so this guy is a little wary of me. It's the first time any human seeing me, so live and let live, my dude. We'll see ya.
This charnel house bore the unmistakable marks of Melchiah's clan. To what depths had our dynasty plummeted if these ghouls were the descendants of my high-born brother? Were they so debased as to recruit fledglings from the desiccated corpses here interred?
Answer, yes. See, there you go. 1, 2, 3, dash, and impale. It's a beautiful rhythm. And just move the blocks. lot of times, too, if you feel stuck,
My
look
brother
around for a place to
Melchiah
jump up
was
to.
made last, and therefore received the poorest portion of Kain's gift. Although immortal, his soul could not sustain the flesh, which retained much of its previous human frailty. This weakness, it seemed, was passed on to his offspring. Their fragile skins barely contained the underlying decay.
Imagine your dad just being too tired when he made you, and now all your flesh falls off. Come on, baby vampires, come hang out in the sun. That is a pretty cool horror concept, though, is vampires who are so weak that they can't make a vampire out of a living creature. They have to use the dead. Or even use the dead to replenish their own bodies. And the warp gate. That's the nice thing about this warp gate. You literally cannot miss it. Okay, another thing I want to call out about Soul Reaver that's great, no load times. I haven't had to cut out a single load time. If I've cut something out, it's because I sucked. One, two, three, dash, impale. Just like that. Okay, so we're gonna look around. Now, there's a lot of stuff under the water here, which we could go down there and explore, but to get the things that are hidden down there, we just don't have the ability for that yet. And same with that up there. That requires an ability we don't have. So we're just going to very carefully get across the lake here. The lake, the tiny pond, I guess. Kill as many vampires as we can, because that's our roleplay portion of this. Because Raziel is now the vengeful defender of humanity, I guess. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, he might be a little self-righteous. Okay, here's another thing. Now, what does that look like? Yeah, I got one. Now, we're gonna want to remember this for later, because the Soul Reaver decoration here is not just for decoration. Okay, so we have a dead vampire on the ground here. That's going to be meaningful in a second. So it looks like there's nowhere we can go. And that is why we shift to Spectral.
Beware, Raziel. These wraiths are vampire spirits, fettered too long in the spectral realm. When their vampire natures adapt to this plane, they become eaters of souls. Do not allow these spirits to re-inhabit their corpses.
So the existence of vampire wraiths is something I find incredibly interesting, because one thing that we're going to see throughout the game is that vampires who spend a great deal of time in torpor, in the, incapacitated, asleep, or down, in the spectral realm, become much stronger. Now, there isn't a massive exception in Blood Omen 2, which is not the least of Blood Omen 2's problems. Not the biggest of them either. But the existence of vampire wraiths makes me wonder about Raziel and the circumstances of his unique resurrection, as it were. More on that later. Okay, so we've got the first really interesting puzzle coming up here. So, most puzzles are block puzzles. And if you need to lift a block up, it's L2 and then square. There you go. So crouch and then action. And most blocks are going to function as keys too. Oh. Get ready for a lot of that. I reserve the right to use the magic of editing to hide my mistakes. I hope you don't find me inauthentic as a result. And if you find yourself on a conduit and can't shift, it's probably because you need to eat some more. Nice. Okay, so we've got two elevators, one on the left, one on the right. What we need to do is we need to drop one elevator, and then we need to think about the physics of the spectral realm, because when we go into spectral, physics don't work the same way. We cannot affect the material world in the spectral realm. So when we shift into spectral, we can jump across that top thing, and that will support us, where now if we jumped on it, it would fall. However, we got to get there first, and that's going to take some doing. So okay. And from the mounds down there, I can see some vampires waiting to pop up and... oh, including this very powerful vampire wraith. Not that powerful. There we go. Now he won't bother us when we shift into the spectral realm. There we go. Now all these guys are going to pop up while we're trying to move the block, which is incredibly annoying. Matter of time. See if we can get there before they do. All right, nice. All right, now we got to open this gate. And that's what the block's for. There we go. And now, here, let's hold R2 and hold triangle to throw. Let's put this staff somewhere where we can use it later. Hopefully it'll still be there. All right, now we can shift to spectral and traverse along that top elevator. I also really, really love the distorted, mutated music tracks in the spectral realm. Kurt Harlan is just a genius, man. I love him. All right, we made it. Can I get any of those souls from down there? Not really. Okay. There we go. Where did my staff end up? Oh. Yeah, I'm not getting that. Whoops. Okay, so this puzzle, we've got 2 keys, and we got 2 blocks. It looks like we just need to line them up in the correct direction. Also, if you tap square, you can just push a block, which can be very handy when you just need to do something quick like this. There we go. Click. That click is the sound of happiness with Soul Reaver puzzles. And then this one... just need to orient it the way it needs to go. Most of the block puzzles aren't really difficult, they're just kind of tedious. Alright, moving on. Okay, we're back to this central area. Now you can see we've got a couple blocks here. And then area up there we're trying to reach. And the way you do that is double up. Raziel's a pretty wiry fella. I wouldn't fight him. Maybe if I was Kain or something. Smack. Hey, how about this? Can you smell what the rock is cooking? Okay, fired. Okay, so this connects to that other... So underwater, this connects to that area that we saw just a little while ago. But again, we don't really have a reason to explore it because we don't have the abilities we need. Give him the old 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See if I can trick you guys into the sunlight again. No? Okay, you're smarter than your brother. I guess not. Haha, 2 for 1. Kinda. Yes, it was me. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing, that's what. Okay, so we've got a big contraption here, purpose unknown. So we'll just go down this elevator and see what's up. Vampire hunter up there. Looks like he's done a good job here. Nice job, fella. We're just gonna leave that sleeping vampire to lie there. Ah, see, this is... Yeah. So, if you don't kill the vampire hunter on the first encounter, they will eventually worship you. And then they'll even be willing to give you a little soul as a treat. Thank you. Okay. Two big spinner thingies. Okay. Now we should be able to make a move. So this is the machine that I don't understand the purpose of. But it's running. That's what matters. Don't talk to me or my son ever again. Okay, now we got the machine running. Let's see what happens if we pull the lever. All right. Okay, we got some scratches there. That probably signifies something. As if I don't know. Oh, got a block here that will enable us to get out. And we're going to want to pull that. Well, the music's changed, so something's going on. Now, obviously, there's stuff that we need to do before we can go down here. Yeah. And one thing that is common in, to every vampire clan in Legacy of Kain. So you see the symbol there. When they're doubled up like that, they signify the clan leader. So this would be Melchiah, because there's two. On Raziel's little scarf there, you can see his two clan symbols together, and they're upside down because he's changed now. But that's a design convention that's very consistent. All right, well, we got a block on fire. What happens if we drag it? Oh, that. Okay. Then for this puzzle, I always like to reposition the blocks. Just make it easier. Ow. It's a good thing fire doesn't hurt us. Okay. Now to the next one. Again, have to wonder who designed this and for what purpose. And now, we've got the platform down. We need to open the gate. There we go. There's the switch sound we like. And these long stretches of moving blocks around, I'm gonna try to think of stuff to talk about, but really we're just kind of moving blocks around, so. Sometimes it's cool to just chill and hang out, right? Right? Very ominous atmosphere.
Show yourself, creature.
Do you not recognize me, brother? Am I so changed?
We're gonna talk about Melchiah in a minute.
Melchiah?
Yes, brother. You should have stayed where the Master sent you, Raziel. You will find Nosgoth less pleasant than you remember.
What has become of my clan? Answer me, little brother, or I will beat an answer from your horrid lips.
Love that line.
Everyone is afraid, sibling. You awake to a world of fear. These times of change are so unsettling. Do you think I feel no revulsion for this form? Do you believe for a moment that our Lord would risk his empire upon an upstart inheritance?
Enough riddles. What are you saying?
You are the last to die.
You're gonna make me spell it out for you, huh? Okay, so really quick before we get into the fight with Melchiah, it should probably come as no surprise to any of you that once upon a time I was an avid player of Vampire the Masquerade and its medieval spin-off, Vampire the Dark Ages. Now, Melchiah, with his big, massive collection of human bodies, bears a huge resemblance to what's called a Vosht, which is, in Vampire the Dark Ages, a Tzimisce Warghoul. And let me just show you this picture here. This is from the Dark Ages Companion from 1996. Check this out. Yeah, look familiar? A Vosht was a lot like a final boss encounter, and yeah, if your storyteller brought out a Vosht, you were pretty well screwed. Anyway, Melchiah is not nearly so tough. Let's show him what's up. So each boss has a trophy attached to him. I've already gotten it, but I'll still show you how to get the one for Melchiah. You want to get around him while he's doing his creepy leg finger thing. Now you can't damage him this way. You want to hit him until he roars. And you get the Backstabber trophy. The laugh doesn't count. Yeah, that's what you want right there. That should make the trophy. That should make the trophy pop for you. Okay, now we'll actually get to the business of beating him. Okay, so this is interesting. Why does Melchiah have spectral abilities? This was actually kind of answered in Nosgoth a little bit. The Melchiam, other than being, you know, horrible flesh-decaying half-zombies, were actually skilled necromancers and practitioners of the occult arts. Hey, are you coming? Come on, fella. Hey, yeah, over here. And boom. Not sure how we didn't see that coming. It's not like I'm like Mr. Deception over here. All right, where is he? There he is. Come on over. Will you fall for this again? Totally. And then we heard a lever just drop. Ah, there it is. And that goes to the strange, very dangerous looking contraption up there. But if we want to run it, we need to get Melchiah to come over to where we are. Come on. That's right. Stay there. Stay there.
Tell
There
me,
we go.
Melchiah,
Yeah.
where can I find Kain?
The Master is beyond your reach, Raziel. He makes himself known when he sees fit, not when commanded.
Also, I don't know. He just doesn't know. Why does he have this in the place where he lives? Actually, I haven't thought about that.
I'm released.
Another all-time favorite line coming up here.
You have done well, Raziel.
Am I reduced to this? A ghoul? A fratricide?
Elevated, Raziel, not reduced.
Love it.
Consuming Melchiah's soul has endowed you with a new gift. Insubstantial barriers such as these are no impediment to you in the spectral realm. Will yourself to pass through, and you shall.
So yep, new ability. Let's check it out. So now, yep, so we can pass through. And I've always kind of preferred the floaty, float through the bars thing more than the step through the bars that Defiance does. Personal preference. Okay, so now we have what we need to enter the Sanctuary of the Clans and confront Kain, which is kind of crazy that that can happen so early in the game. But the very quickest way to get there, as I said earlier, is we're going to save, pay no attention to all these save files, and we're going to quit. And we're going to load. And now the Elder God can tell us what to do next.
With Melchiah's gift, your way is opened. Return to the seat of Kain's ill-omened empire. Its sterile silence has secrets yet to unveil.
So awesome. The very epitome of Gothic dialogue. I love it. Okay, so we're headed to the Sanctuary of the Clans, and we'll use the warp gate to get there. And we will eventually go back to Melchiah's territory and get some of the pickups that we missed, but we're going to wait until we've got some more abilities. Nope, I'm busy. It does make me wonder where all of these Doomayim come from, though. It's not like we weren't thorough in getting rid of it before. Alright, health upgrade.
These artifacts enhance your stamina, enabling you to prolong your material manifestation. Gather 5 to complete the emblem, and thereby augment your strength.
Yeah, I love how much effort they put into explaining just the tiniest things. A lesser game would just say health upgrade. Instead, we get the privilege of that. I love it. So the combat in Soul Reaver is kind of simplistic, especially compared to Soul Reaver 2, and definitely compared to Defiance. That said, I do really like it. Oh, and we can hold R1 to sneak. Bonk. And go for a swim. How about you? Go swim with your buddy. Surprised that actually didn't, If you watch the Blood Omen playthroughs, you know how much I face tank in water. It's like, I don't want to change to Mist form. Let's just face tank it. And we're just... You guys are not great at guarding. There we go. Nothing is going to stand between Raziel and his confrontation with Kain here. Especially not some insubstantial grates. All right, here we go.
Raziel.
Kain!
The abyss has been unkind.
Sick burns abound.
I am your creation, Kain. Now, as before, you criticize your own work. What have you done with my clan, degenerate? You have no right.
I love this scene.
What I have made, I can also destroy, child.
Damn you, Kain! You are not God! Yes. This act of genocide is unconscionable! Conscience? You dare to speak to me of conscience? Only when you have felt the full gravity of choice should you dare question my judgment. Your lifespan is a flicker compared to the mass of doubt and regret that I have borne since Mortanius first turned me from the light. To know that the fate of the world hangs dependent on the advisedness of my every deed? Can you even begin to conceive what action you would take in my position?
I would choose integrity, Kain.
Look around you, Raziel. See what has become of our empire. Witness the end of an age. The clans scattered to the corners of Nosgoth. This place has outlasted its usefulness. As have you.
The Soul Reaver, Kain's ancient blade, older than any of us and 1,000 times more deadly. The legends claimed that the blade was possessed and thrived by devouring the souls of its victims. For all our bravado, we knew what it meant when Kain drew the Soul Reaver in anger. It meant you were dead.
Okay, before we get into this fight, there is a trophy for not letting Kain hit you with the Soul Reaver's energy. This fight kind of sucks. Really, the best thing to do is just kind of spin around until you see Kain. That was close. 2. And 3. The trophy would pop if we didn't already have it. Biggest moments in the entire series.
The blade is vanquished. So it unfolds. And we are a step closer to our destinies.
Kain knew.
I swore I saw a glint of satisfaction in Kain's eye when the Soul Reaver was destroyed. I did not understand the game that Kain was playing, but I knew the finishing move.
From this moment and ever afterwards, you and this blade are inextricably bound. Soul Reaver and Reaver of Souls, your destinies are intertwined. By destroying the sword, you have liberated it from its corporeal prison.
Did Raziel destroy it?
Restored it to its
With his
true
head, maybe.
form, a radiant blade, its energy unbound. No longer a physical blade, it can only manifest itself in the material realm when your strength is fully restored. Once manifest, it will sustain you.
Yeah. Except he's not being entirely honest about the nature of the sword here.
What are you, little soul? Another of Kain's creatures come to taunt this bound spectre.
Here's a familiar face
I did
and
not
voice.
intend to disturb your rest.
Rest. A body is needed for sleep. Flesh and bones are required to recline. No, child. All I may do is watch and remember, ceaselessly conscious as this wretched world's history unfurls. Ghastly past, insufferable future, are they one and the same? Am I always here?
How have you come to haunt these pillars?
Kain refused the sacrifice. The pillar of balance, corrupted to its core, stands as a monument to his blind ambition.
It was the one pillar that
Now
wasn't
these
purified.
pillars serve only to bind me here, my prison and eternal home, thanks to the avarice of your master, Kain.
That bastard can claim no allegiance from me.
Then we share a common foe, Raziel. Return here when you have need. Ariel remembers what others have forgotten.
Okay, so a loose thought here. I'm really into Norse mythology, and Ariel, her design has always reminded me of Hel, the daughter of Loki, and the goddess of the underworld. She also had one side of her face that was human and the other that was a corpse. I think about that a lot when I play these games. Okay, the one trophy that I do not have that we need is to listen to all of Ariel's hints. So we're going to come back here after every boss and listen to what Ariel has to tell us.
Far in the eastern mountains, a stifled titan stands in mute surrender, unwilling host to a parasitic swarm.
Okay, and now that we have Melchiah's soul and we can phase through insubstantial barriers, next time we'll go visit the Silence Cathedral. If you like what you see and you want to see more, do the things.